Hello, I'm Lupinita Buivaja, and I'm here to share my thoughts of why I oppose HB 459, House Bill 459, and also the Comprehensive Sex Education, and also other bills like it, such as the Safe Places Bill in the Senate, SB 979. All of these bills are aimed at taking away the innocence of children at a young age, such as comprehensive sex education. They're mandating it that it be taught in public schools and to start at kindergarten. In the bill, it states that it will be opt-in, opt-out. But as they've shown in many other states, because it's become mandatory in kindergarten, the verbiage to be able to do opt-in, opt-out will change slowly to where it becomes law that no one can opt out. In comprehensive sex education, it's not only national, but it's internationally, where children are being taught that when they get into kindergarten, they're starting to the teachers start teaching them to pull away from the faith of their parents by teaching them this kind of sexual education. Hawaii is already being noted from many researchers' point of view as of having the more hyper or the more intense homosexual education, because we're using studies based off of Dr. Alfred Kinsey. Dr. Kinsey, many people would have said he was a doctor who was a pedophile by nature. He started doing studies at 2 months of age. He was allowed to touch babies. He was allowed to do sexual experimentations with children at such a young age to prove his point. And his point was that children are sexual from birth. With this kind of ideal, he's used that to be able to manipulate the cultures, and the cultures that love his teachings, to say, start teaching children at younger and younger ages to give consent to their bodies. I was blown away to find out in Canada they are already teaching 6-year-olds that it's okay to give consent if they'd like to go ahead and have sex with either another child or another adult. All these efforts are being backed up by NAMBLA, the North American Man-Boy Love Association, and other groups like them. To say that they're trying to teach children about the healthy ways or the safer and safer ways of having sex is not true. In HB 459, they will not teach about the miracle of life. They will not even use the medically accurate terms for how a baby is born. But over 30 times they're going to teach about different ways to have anal sex. They're going to show that a condom will give the protection that is needed to have safer and safer sex. In a lot of the material, as it's going down, as it's being put, that this is age appropriate for a senior to learn, a junior, a sophomore to learn. We've seen, as we looked at other states like Detroit, Massachusetts, Oregon, Las Vegas, it starts at the sophomore year, and then it goes to the 8th grade year, and then it flows down to the 5th grade year, and then the 3rd grade year. And then everything that you hear that is so explosive about sex education is then taught in kindergarten. Why? Because of the desensitization that happens from the adults that teach it to the material that the kids continue to see. It's not just a 1-day course. It's not just a 4-day course. They'll do it throughout the school year. They'll come in with poems of homosexual sex, heterosexual sex, different fluidities of sex. Then they'll come in with pictures, because in their statement you have to have graphics are not enough, information is not enough. They need to teach the skill set. Dr. Judith Reisman, who's traveled internationally to stop these kinds of programs, says that they'll teach foreplay in the classroom, that the kids have to act it out. They'll teach sadomasochism, where it's sexual behavior that brings on bruises and beatings. This is not healthy sex, especially to teach children to look at pornographic images, to even in Oregon where they say take methamphetamines, to have sex longer with more partners, to look at porn sites, to look at star porn sites. You take a child's innocence away as I told you, the gradual decline of the grade levels, and to teach a kindergartner something like that. The brain that continues to develop, the neural paths that will meet, that teach kindness, that teach charity, that teach compassion at 6 and 7 and 8 years of age, they will never meet. because you have already hypersexualized, which means you've given them a lot of sex to learn. They can't think about anything else. Sex is being taught at school over and over and over again. That the child starts thinking more about sex than math, sex more than English, sex more than the kindness to their fellow beings. It rapes the child's innocence, it rapes the child's mind, it rapes the child's capability of being a good human being many times. In these programs, it does not talk about the criminal actions that are taken with this kind of sexual behavior. Sexual behavior that is not right from an adult to a child, children to children. They're going to be taught that it's okay. You can experiment, you can explode your sensuality, your sexuality. The program also in comprehensive sex education, which blew my mind away, was that pedophilia is not a crime, but it is a sexual orientation. That changes the whole law of criminal sexual behavior. It changes child pornography. The people that are pushing it, such as the North American Man-Boy Love Association, and other groups that are trying to change the age of consent from 18 to be able to have sex with prepubescent boys. You can see it in the culture, you can see it in the curriculum. Why teach children over and over about anal sex if there isn't a huge mission to be able to bring this group to these children? I know that there are many educators, teachers, administrators that do want to have children in a safe place, that the school is a safe place for learning. Bringing this kind of material in, it takes the teachers right away to teach something that they're not comfortable of teaching. It takes the parents right away to say, this is not what we would teach in our home. We love the community and I don't have any problems with the lesbian and the gay community in the way that they like to form their relationships. But then to teach the children their way of life through pornography, through all the different venues that they're going to teach children, that are being taught to children now around the world, is disturbing, is something I need to stop, is something I have to stop. There are many children, parents that are working that don't even know, teachers that I've talked to throughout the state that don't even know that this is going to become law. I hope that those of you who are hearing this message will come to action in any way. If it's just emailing another friend, if it's just learning more about what comprehensive sex education is beyond the verbiage of the bill, the wording of the bill, learning what's happening in other countries and other nations, protecting the innocent. That's our job as adults, as parents at all times, to protect children. I hope you'll join that cause. If any way possible, in any talent or form that you have of spreading the word, of getting even your own teachers to know about something that will affect them. Their name is written all over that bill, and teachers throughout this state do not know. HSTA is not telling the teachers. I've called the Board of Education. They're not returning phone calls, and they haven't told the teachers. The superintendent, they're not telling the teachers. They're learning just from us, grassroots level, parents that are concerned. I hope all of us will see that this can change society. This will change the way of life. Slowly and gradually, I hope we all can act as soon as we can to make this and other laws stop. Thank you.